There's a fundamental difference between feeling exhausted and feeling drained. If you know how to discern the difference, you know how to live your life on purpose. Many times we have that intuition in our lives. And in this video, I want to dive deeply into how we can tap into that energy that we already know, that our intuition already knows whether something is aligned or not. And so you can make better decisions in your life that allows you to live your life blissfully, happily, and without being in total misalignment. Most of the time, when you're doing something that is truly coming from your heart, when you really follow that excitement, something that really sparks you up, when you do that action, when you do that work, do you feel depleted afterwards? Very likely not. In my experience, I always feel energized. When I speak to people and I can inspire them to look within, do the inner work, and allow themselves to realign themselves with their own truth instead of living the conditioned program that they may carry from the external environment, from their past memories, from their friends and family, from society, and even their own trauma or bad experiences in the past. And so when I see them, when I speak to them, and I can hold space for them to be in that space, to allow them to see their own freedom, that they are basically limitless and boundless in their own being, that fills me with energy to show them that there is truth within them, that they do not longer need to look outside for truth and alignment. That that conversation gives me so much energy, and I feeling energized after. Of course, I do feel like some physical exhaustion. My body feels like, oh, okay, I definitely held space. I definitely held space in a way that was a space for transformation. And so creating this cocoon for the two of us to alchemize the past and transmute it into the next step of our growth and evolution as human beings, it does require sometimes the fire, and it feels like the body, you can feel it on the body. I do feel it on the body. And yes, sometimes I do feel exhausted after a day of doing this the whole day, of holding space, of guiding meditations, guiding my clients, of guiding people, of every time I'm encountering someone, there's another opportunity to guide them back to themselves. And so I can feel it. But I do feel energized. I feel like so energized and euphoric in a way, and happy about that I was there being able to show them their own truth. And I love when I see their smiles suddenly happening within their face, and it's just very fulfilling and beautiful energy to be in. And so I can feel that it gives me energy. It gives me energy to give from my own truth, to give something that is truly true to me, not something that I think I'm supposed to be saying or something I'm supposed to be doing. Because if I try to help someone, because being in that trying energy is draining me. Because maybe I heard something in a book about psychology, and maybe I heard this spiritual advice or I heard that spiritual advice, and just reciprocating information I've heard left and right. That is not really fulfilling me. Yeah, some people maybe like to transmit information in such a way, but that's not my deeper work. My deeper work is to speak from my own experience, my own inner experience with silence and stillness, and hour long and day long and week long, month long, year long states of meditation where I just went inward and found the answers not through logic, not through thinking, but through utter silence and stillness. Realizing that the source was within the silence, because no matter where I was looking, nobody had really answers for me. And so, no matter who I was asking, I was never satisfied. Everyone had conclusions, assumptions about life, beliefs, systems of thoughts and thoughts and thoughts. But nobody had a transformational method or something that like really transformed the very way I perceive life. Yes, we can get inspiration from each other, but if we want transformation, we can only point to it. We cannot bring someone to transformation. We can only guide people to look within themselves and see the point and access the point of transformation within them, to alchemize everything that is no longer serving them, that no longer serves you. And so by that, you're becoming a different version of yourself. Or, in other words, you're coming back to your essence. Because once you truly experience your essence, you're free to choose your identity the way you want to. You're free to choose to design your identity the way you want to. And so, guiding people in that direction gives so much energy, creates so much energy. And you probably know that too. And whatever you're choosing in your life that comes from joy, from truth within yourself, from your heart, you probably feel energized afterwards. And so that is how you can recognize it. At least that's how I recognize it. When I see it, it fills up the room, it changes vibration, it points towards truth. And I'm going out there again, out of the conversation, I'm coming out there with this, me pointing again towards my inner source, and them knowing that their inner source is also within themselves. And now it becomes an exchange of that source between us. Source talking to source. And that is beautiful co-creation. That is what energizes not only the space we're in, but everything around us. And I don't believe that I experience it. I experience it all over my body. I usually get goosebumps when I'm in those moments of inspiration, of of speaking from truth. When both individuals speak from truth, they're in harmonizing and experiencing the union between them and all around them. And so that's how you can recognize it. Whether you're on purpose doing something, whether you're intentional, whether you're aware and consciously directing your life, and it energizes you, it brings you forward. And of course, physically, you can feel exhaustion. Yes, your physical body will feel exhausted. Of course, it's very normal. The body needs to recharge. And if you're able to rest, even in that, your body will need less to recharge. If you're in a restful energetic state, you won't even feel that exhausted. But that's maybe a topic for another video on how we can be restful in every situation. On the other hand, and this is how you can recognize whether something is aligned with you or not, is when you feel drained and not exhausted. We're not talking about the physical exhaustion, the draining energy. You know, when you go into a place and you just feel like your life is getting sucked out of you, it's just so tremendously draining. You know that this is not the right environment, you're not supposed to be here, and this is not in alignment with you. You know, sometimes we have this culture where we need to push through and we need to do things, and sometimes we should take a step back and realize, is that really an aligned choice, an aligned step that I need to take forward? Yes, we're committing to something. Yes, we want to accomplish something. But is it the only way? The only way is to push and force everything forward with rigidity? Or is there something deeper that we need to understand before we take the next step? Is there something deeper that we need to acknowledge before we move forward? And usually it's that when we feel resistance and or signs of procrastination, there's a deeper truth that is asking our attention. And whether we realize it or not, it requires us in that moment to step back and tune inward. tune in and see what is the underlying message here for yourself. What is the situation trying to tell you? Why are you experiencing friction? Why do you feel drained? And see that a few elements might not be aligned, or even simply the way you approach something might not be aligned. Maybe you need to approach it from a different place. Maybe not through forcefulness and hard work. Maybe you want to just do it joyfully. Because you realize, hey, I'm doing this for the process. I'm doing this step because I enjoy it. Not because I have to achieve X, Y, and Z result. Because after all, this is our lifetime. This is what we spend most of our time on. Our entire life, we're spending time on reaching some goals, but 99% of the time, we're spending it on the process. We're spending it on the path. We're spending it on the way, doing, acting, moving. And so we don't find ourselves that long of periods at the end goal that we have achieved. Yes, eventually we're achieving it. Yes, eventually we're at the goal and we're experiencing the fulfillment and we're experiencing the joy of it. But how long does that truly last? It's nothing compared to the journey that has brought you there. And again, it's such a beautiful sentence that has been in my awareness for such a long time now, since I'm very young, since I was reading philosophers when in my philosophy studies. But the path is truly the goal. Yes, it's important to have a goal. Yes, it's important to know which direction you're heading to. The vision needs to be there because you need to know in which direction you're going. Consciously. You need to choose it. But then you need to keep your eyes on the path, not on the goal. If you have one eye on the goal and one eye on the path, well, you know the results of that. So I invite you here to take a moment next time you feel drained after you did an activity or you feel resistance and friction within yourself and inquire, go within yourself, tune in. And from there on, reflect upon which are more aligned actions with me, which are actions that energize me, which are actions that amplify me and amplify everyone around you, around me. Because these are the actions that fulfill us. These are the actions that bring us forward. And if you feel drained and energetically, you feel like something was sucked out of you, maybe you should take a moment to reflect upon what was that and why is it so. Thank you so much for being here today. Let me know in the comments below how you feel about it. Are there situations in your life where you feel really energetically drained? And how do you know if you're actually taking actions with purpose, actions that are energizing you? I'd love to know what actions are actually energizing you. Thank you so much again, and I'll see you in the next video.